Do it.
So I'll let you choose. I got the Final Fantasy argument, since we talked about that earlier in the show. Or the Black Mirror argument.
Black Mirror argument.
Alright, we'll go with the Black Mirror argument since I've been watching a little bit of that. Final Fantasy one was good though. Right, so Black Mirror, right? You watch Black Mirror. Look at Black Mirror and some of the examples that are given in Black Mirror of how technology can infect our lives in insidious ways, make us act in ways that are just not human, make us change the way that we talk to people, that make us focus on how much ratings that we have online with people rating us with stars and stuff, or like the other one that we watch where people can use the implants that they have and just block someone. We watched that one where you can block. That was a really good episode. That one was. I don't remember the name. It was a season 3 one. It just that was just plot wise. It was well written.
Yeah.
There were several reveals in that one where I just did not see coming.
Yeah. That was a good episode.
Sidetrack. Anyways, so obviously, if you watch Black Mirror, you would know that technology is evil, and that things that are derived and spawned from technology are inherently evil. Now, my biggest fear, obviously, well, I've lots of biggest fears, but eventually you get to the point where like there's just surveillance everywhere, you know, little cameras that watch everything, and obviously when you have that much data coming in, like you can't have people that like watch it or whatever, so you have to have like some AI or some like massive server or something put somewhere to build to like just parse through all this information that's coming in everywhere. And then eventually that becomes self-aware and uses robots and stuff to take over humanity and enslave us all. It's happened many times in movies in the past, and I think obviously there's movies
You're insane.
We should all go. We should all go be naked, like in the Conan thing, with the dong swap and everything. And
Slide yourself to max.
Slide yourself to max, obviously. And we should just run through the forests, gathering food, and making sweet, sweet love.
Some big ass dongs.
Dude, big old well, I mean, what?
They're fat, fleshy, optic noodles.
How can you argue with that? You can't, obviously. Anyway, so, see what you guys thought. Results. No. Kyle wins this round. Technology has only begun to flourish.
I knew it.
I'm a big fan of everyone who voted for technology. Did you notice that was one of the options?
Yes, I did. I really wanted to argue for it, but that would have been a cop-out.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that wasn't first, actually.
I was kind of as well. But you know, people are so impressed with their goddamn technology and their goddamn phones.
That's how they're watching this stream.
It's true. So I guess again, it would obviously would have been self-defeating for us to. So I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad that Yes won. I'm glad Kyle won this round of sword fight. Okay.
Success.
Back in action.
We have tech news now.
We do. This is my third segment, third and final segment for this show. News related to technology. Which, yes, you could say the whole show's been that fall. We'd say screw you. This is the news segment.
Tech technology.
That is why we segment things. Compartmentalize them.
Give you the illusion that this show has substance and
Yes,
diversity.
obviously. Have that sort of loose framework of structure that holds everything together and provides the vague illusion of
We've got
we
ideas.
know what's
They're happening here.
All right, SK Hynix. I'm still pretty sure that I'm pronouncing it correct. SK Hynix.
I don't know how else you
How else
would
would
say
you?
it.
Yeah, HY Hynix.
That gives me
No, it'd be Hynix.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I've always said that, assuming I was pronouncing it right, but I don't know anyone there. I don't know anyone who has come through and said, like, oh, you just don't pronounce that. Anyway, we bring this up. We talk about this mainly because, pardon me, in all honesty, I feel like there's been a slight lull in the tech news, just to some degree. There's lots of course, rumors and everything, but even those I feel like are kind of, there's even no new rumors. I think it's stuff is like, it's calm before the storm and stuff to launch.
It's also right after CES where a lot of that stuff has been revealed.
That's true. That's true. CES stuff, you know. So,
Closer to context.
look at, I think Raja Kaduri obviously
Oh yeah.
responsive.
No.
Initializing respawn.
That's Raja.
attention to detail.
Those are Raja's very immaculately manicured fingernails holding up one of the Vega chips.
Yeah.
Vega's obviously what lots of people are excited about. Well, I mean, people are excited about Zen from AMD and the Ryzen CPUs. People are also very excited about Vega. AMD has some cool stuff coming out this year, but damn it, won't they release it? So this is just some information that's somewhat related to that. It's a WCCF Tech article by Hassan. So you know, he's reaching out there into the information that's available. He's making a few interpretations of that information, and he may or may not be correct. But one thing that has been confirmed is that there has been a shift or a change in SK Hynix's launch schedule for HBM2 VRAM, which is the VRAM that's going to be used both in the Vega GPUs as well as NVIDIA's newest, the Pascal GPUs that use HBM. Yeah, so they had plans. They had listed on their roadmap 1.6 gigabit per second and 2 gigabit per second HBM2 for availability in Q4 2014, but they have now revised that. There is now only one 1.6 gigabit per second SKU, and that's now been pushed back to Q1 2017. So that is the true information that is SK Hynix has announced.
The yields must have been shit.
Yeah, so maybe they're having problems with yields or something like that. Maybe they just don't have enough quantity of viable HBM2 2 gigabit per second chips, or maybe the performance isn't there when they're actually getting these off the fab or whatever. All this means, though, or at least the article predicts that this potentially means that AMD is going to have to rely on what we already have assumed is 8 gigs of HBM2 memory on the Vega GPUs. That's via 2 stacks, and that is
Always underestimate.
visible right here because you got the GPU there. This is the substrate, and then these things right here are the HBM stacks. And clearly there is no room for more of them, at least on this chip design. So that's pretty clear. But yeah, if that is true though, and they're using two 8 gig stacks of this specific HBM2 memory, that means they're going to have a 2048-bit memory bus with 496 gigabytes per second of bandwidth available. And the article points out that would be a narrower bus and less memory. Now, what I would say to that is that, well, I don't really feel like memory bandwidth or bus was, I don't really feel like the memory bandwidth or the bus width was really the limiting factor when it comes to the Fiji chips. So I would feel like that would have less of a potential impact.
It's more so the capacity of the frame buffer itself.
I mean, I think it had plenty of memory to work with. I think it's just like how fast the GPU itself is, you know. And if the memory can keep up, then the GPU, all right.
I mean, well, like what? What did the Nano have? The R9 Nano had
4096-bit memory bus because there were more chips. It had 4 stacks on there, and there was 1024 per stack.
And like as much faster as it was as GDDR5 at the time, I still remember maxing out, you know, Quad HD GTA 5 max settings and stuff with that. So I felt like, even though it was a lot faster and had more bandwidth available, there wasn't just as large a frame buffer to handle more pixels if you were to crank up certain settings and filters.
Mm-hmm.
But 16 gigs, I'm cool with that.
That gives me
This is 8 gigs.
Oh, I thought you said 2 8 gig stacks.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I said that. I might have said that and been wrong.
I could have
but yeah,
misheard it.
2 4 gig stacks providing 8 gigs.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. Or they could maybe just not use the SK Hynix memory that they're talking about because Samsung is also fabbing HBM2 memory. Maybe they'll just go with Samsung stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like a race to the finish. Like whoever's gonna have it ready sooner.
Exactly.
Right. And it's like if I'm planning out a build.
Well, I hope that they're versatile enough for that to be able to jump over if needed. It'll help the availability of the GPUs in the launch. Vega, by the way, is still expected, but has not yet been 100% confirmed for the first half of 2017. In the next 4 or 5 months. Okay, alright, next up. Intel released some information for 2016 earnings. They had a call with people. I don't know who gets on these calls. Who gets invited to these calls where Intel's just like, here's how much money we made. Here's where where we did good, like investors and stuff like that. I believe that's who's involved in these calls,
All warheads
as
have
well as
now
some
been deployed.
media is also involved. Point being, Intel, although they did have a record Q4 in revenue, and they had a record $59.4 billion in 2016 revenue overall for the entire year, they said that they did have some impact to their bottom line by unspecified CPU
Nuclear launch
failures.
detected.
Now, unspecified CPU failures. Basically they had more than they were expecting of CPUs that had to be RMA that weren't functional when they sent them to system integrators or probably not system integrators in this case, because part of the reason I read this article is like, oh my god, does this mean that recent Intel CPUs are more likely to fail than past? Because that's something that's pretty standard if you've worked with computers for a while. I don't know, CPUs, if they're going to be bad, usually they're bad usually they're just bad, but that's really rare. CPUs I find are very uncommon for a CPU to be DOA or something like that. And they're usually very reliable too. They usually just keep working. They're usually good for resale and stuff like that, unless they've been like overclocked or voltage or something like that. But this story, and thank God Tom's, this is a Tom's Hardware article by the way, Tom's Hardware followed up with him and asked a little bit more specifically because the failures are limited to the Intel Atom Processor C2000 product family, which is used primarily for storage and networking infrastructure.
And no one cares.
So competing with like ARM-based CPU manufacturers for stuff like the CPUs that go into like routers and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I assume based on that networking infrastructure, or potentially like IT stuff, higher end business, enterprise. So
That doesn't affect most of us.
yeah. So, although Intel said they were observing a product quality issue in the fourth quarter with slightly higher expected failure rates under certain use and time constraints, so they said these CPUs are not desktop CPUs. These CPUs are confined to two areas that Intel defines as key growth drivers, which is unfortunate for them,
Warhead
but
deployment
they
beginning.
just made $59.4 billion last year, so who cares? But as a result, their data center group, their financial performance actually declined 14% year over year to $1.9 billion. But yeah, all this is to say, if you read this article or come across it, they're not talking about the desktop CPUs, so it's not like
complete.
suddenly the KB Link
Collection
processors
is
are being
advised.
returned a lot more or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good news then.
Lost.
It is good news.
It's like
Warning.
bad news if you're in the
Four
server
under attack
area,
by
but
hostile forces.
otherwise you're in good shape.
Cool. All right. Here is a bit of sad news, unfortunately. You guys might have heard about this. It was kind of bouncing around because it was tech and 3D printer related. There was a couple in San Francisco that died recently, reportedly as a result of 3D printer leakage. The couple in the photo here were both MIT graduates. Roger Marash was 35, his wife Valerie was 32, and their pet cats were found dead inside their apartment on Monday.
What? I was gonna ask, did the
And
cats make it?
No, the cats didn't.
Wow, not even
The cats too. Because there was CO2 poisoning. And cats are also susceptible to that. So yeah, they were found by a friend. They had a memorial service for them on Friday. There was a GoFundMe account that raised $15,000 for their expenses. So nice to hear, despite the bad news, of course. Now,
I was wearing a GOG shirt. Is that a
I
GOG?
think it's GDC. But
Oh.
I don't I know I've seen this logo, but it doesn't immediately. Yeah. So anyway, point being, a lot of people were talking about this because like, oh, 3D printers are dangerous. And there is some research that has been done. The article references a study from last year that warns people from using 3D printers in their homes due to potential toxic emissions. So that has been referred to before, but what a lot of the articles, including this one, aren't pointing out as clearly is that they also had a laser cutter they were using at the same time, a 3D printer and a laser cutter. And laser cutters have a much higher chance of releasing toxic fumes while they're in use than a 3D printer. So
Let's cut
chances are it was more due to the laser cutter that's involved. Jerry was shooting the printer. he works a lot with 3D printers, so of course we see him in the story. And yeah, there's chances are it was a laser cutter, more so than the 3D printer that actually caused this tragedy. Unfortunately, of course. But the lesson to be learned is if you're using any equipment that's like this, have proper ventilation, have a CO2 alarm, because that could have potentially saved these people's lives. And it's good.
Apparently, people are saying it's a CO alarm. Carbon
CO?
dioxide or carbon monoxide is different than.
Oh, am I saying the wrong
CO2.
thing? CO?
Yes.
My bad.
I believe CO, not CO2.
Okay, sorry. Thank you for the correction.
Yeah, carbon monoxide.
GDC would be the Game Developers Conference. I am aware of
GDC.
that. Is that the logo for that though? Is that the 10-year? I don't know. If he's in San Francisco, he could easily be in tech or games industry or something like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy.
So, anyway, moving on from that though, Nintendo Switch. We talked a little bit about that here on the show. Some people are excited about it, some people are less. I don't know. It seems kind of fun. But like many products, there are branded SD cards that they've now come out with that, of course, cost way more money than normal SD cards.
These aren't proprietary, right? They don't look at.
No.
Thank God.
I was going to close with that, but we can leave with that. They're not proprietary.
Oh.
The Nintendo Switch, that's okay. The Nintendo Switch has 32 gigabytes of built-in memory, but you can also expand that with micro SD cards.
Here we go.
And yes, as Kyle already pointed